Alright guys, brand new action RPG launching next month in early access. This is Dragonkin. Let's go check it out, and I kind of just want to talk about this game as I'm interested in it.
Welcome to a new video about the skill system for Dragonkin the Banished. For those who have only just found out about the game, Dragonkin the Banished is a hack and slash in which you need to hunt down powerful dragons to end their domination and ultimately liberate the world.
We see some blink, so we got mobility skills.
On March 6th, 2025.
So March 6th, it's got 3 classes.
Xbox Series X and S. If you didn't watch our first video introducing the character classes, you can find it via the card at the top right of your screen. As a quick summary, there will be 3 classes available when early access launches. The Knight wields an arsenal of fire, the Barbarian boasts titanic strength, and the Oracle with draconic powers. Now let's get back to the topic of this video. At the heart of Dragonkin's skill system is the ancestral grid. Each character class has its own ancestral grid, and it evolves as you level up. The ancestral grid only becomes a powerful asset when fragments are added to it. Fragments are items that you find as loot and are made up of hexagons. Each hexagon in a fragment represents a skill or a skill modifier. The further you progress in the game, the more powerful the fragments become and more complex in shape. The composition of the grid and placement of fragments are therefore key factors in customizing and optimizing.
So it's kind of like Undecember and, was it Superfuse? In terms of like how the skill customization. They'll just probably show it off over here.
A fragment containing a character skill on the ancestral grid, it appears in your skill bar, and you can then use the skill. You can upgrade skills with modifiers. You simply place a fragment with a modifier on the grid so that it touches another fragment containing a skill. By stacking modifiers, you reach more powerful tiers that increasingly upgrade your character's skills.
So basically, it has to be adjacent to
help
it.
You work out if a skill is compatible with a modifier. Let's go to the town's training arena and look at a few examples together. Here you can see the Solar Jolt skill in its base version. Touching the fragment containing the Solar Jolt skill, we'll place fragments containing compatible modifiers, in this case bonus projectile, defensive stance, and repulsion. With just these changes, this is what the Solar Jolt skill looks like now. Here's another example with the resounding strike of the Barbarian in its non-upgraded version. By correctly placing the right modifiers in the ancestral grid, this is how we can upgrade the resounding strike skill.
So we got like a companion over here.
During your adventure, you will also be accompanied by a Wormling, a creature with unique powers tied to an element. Fire, ice, toxic, or electric. You can change your Wormling type whenever you want in the main town. Wormling are also tied closely to the ancestral grid. They also have their own skills. By placing a fragment containing a Wormling skill right next to a fragment with a compatible character skill, you can trigger an additional effect. Here, my character is accompanied by an electric Wormling. As you can see in the grid, we place a fragment containing an electric Wormling skill right next to a fragment containing the Knight's Flamethrower skill. A Wormling skill only triggers if a condition is met. In this case, it just needs a skill to be activated. The Flamethrower therefore triggers Stormcool when activated. Let's look at another example.
It's like a cast on condition, or similar to like, was it Season 3 in Diablo?
Snow animation skill, which is compatible with the Oracle's Ethereal Stings skill. Its description says that it triggers when an enemy is hit. You can see that when the Ethereal Stings skill deals damage to the training mannequin, the Ice Wormling skill triggers. Of course, the Wormling skills can also be upgraded with modifiers just like character skills, as long as the modifiers are compatible. Furthermore, a character skill can even trigger multiple Wormling skills as long as they are compatible, which further increases customization possibilities for your skills. As you can see, each character class and each Wormling type are associated with an element. By triggering your Wormling skills, you can use its element as well as your character's element. If you sufficiently upgrade one of your character's skills in the ancestral grid, you enable what we call Symbiosis. Your skill combines with your Wormling's element. For example, the Knight's Flamethrower skill can deal ice damage if you have an Ice Wormling. Symbiosis changes the appearance of your skills as well as their effects.
I really want to see the loot and the legendaries and like the uniques in the game. That's what I'm actually really excited about. But it looks pretty crazy.
Character and Wormling skills modified. Here's an example with the Oracle. As you can see, Dragonkin's skill system with the ancestral grid, fragments, and your Wormling offer a vast amount of freedom to customize your skills and playstyle. Experiment, combine, optimize, and release your inner ancestral power. Thanks everyone for watching and for your ongoing interest in Dragonkin the Banished.
Okay.
We can't wait for you to play the game.
So
and we look
I
forward
do
to
have
reading your feedback
more
on this video.
content to show you guys with the classes.
Dragonkin the Banished will release in early access on Steam on March 6th, 2025, and later on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. See you soon for a new video on Dragonkin the Banished.
Alright, so I kind of want to talk about the game because I hate sometimes when the content creator like pauses when the video is going. But I want to show you guys the classes, and I have videos of the classes as well. But anyways, so first off, there are 3 classes, and like I said, I have another video to show you guys as far as the classes go. But I think that this is a pretty cool idea. I always like seeing what new things people can come up with in terms of action RPGs. Now, this whole ancestral grid system, technically it's been done before in, there's actually 2 games. It was like Superfuse as well as Undecember. And I actually think Undecember has a lot of potential. I'm hoping that like one of these over here is like this skill, right? And then like there'd be, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, was it 1, 2, 3, it should be 6 adjacent ones. Now, if you can also have like the Wormling also links something else that is also adjacent to it, that'd be really cool. Again, we're getting into really complex ideas for certain skills to basically chain off of each other. And then the fact that you have like a pet that can like activate like cold damage like they mentioned before, or maybe some sort of condition. I like this because right now in Path of Exile 2, you have to manually activate all of these things. And if this can sort of automate it, right? Like let's say you get more damage if the enemy is frozen, chilled, electrocuted, ignited, burning, whatever these conditions are. Like you can see over here, you can see it also has fuel cost. I'm not sure if that is like some sort of like resource that we have in the game, but I like that it has all of these keywords. And I really want to see the itemization for this game. I mean, looking at the interface, it reminds me a lot of like Diablo. We have like the levels here, and probably this is your XP bar. I don't know what max level is in the game yet, but this is a game I've got my eyes on. In fact, I've been talking about this game for quite some time as it got announced a really long time ago. So I'm excited to see what they can do with it. And I like the idea that your companion does more than like, you know, right now in Diablo, it kind of just picks up loot. We do have the mercenary system, but I like the idea that this actually does like more so damage, because in Diablo right now, in the current state of like the mercenaries, I think the mercenaries were way more advanced in Diablo 2 or even Diablo 3. We had like the emanate system where it can basically give you some of the stats, but I felt like it was really lost out in D4. So if we can have this like ally that actually gives us other conditions, and it can open up the doors for other things, because they mentioned Symbiosis where you'd have like the cold and the fire at the same time. But I'm wondering, is that going to run into some problems with your build? Like, the reason why I'm mentioning that is because like a lot of builds, you might just do fire damage or cold damage. Maybe they have elemental damage. I don't know. I haven't seen like the skill tree with this game, and I'm interested to see what this game has. But you can see that this also, I'm not sure if this is I'm pretty sure this is our pet, because it says physical resistance, Wormling damage. So I don't know if this could actually be a target that gets eliminated, but you can see you have 4 of them, and I guess you get to only equip 1 at a time, but this one has like no armor over here. But you can see over here there's Wormling, and then like I don't know what these exactly are on. I can see that there's like points here, but it looks like there is some sort of like depth with the Wormling, and I'm really excited to see what can kind of emerge out of this. I want to know also if the game has PvP. There's a lot of stuff I genuinely don't know about, but there's another video that I wanted to play real quick, which goes over like all of the classes. They call it hero reveals, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this real quick just so we have like everything in the video, and then I'll talk more about the game. And I'll also give you guys my thoughts on it, but yeah. So here's, I believe this is the barb. So you can see it's the barb, so he's melee type, and he has like an element tied to him. You see we got like some whirlwind action going. But yeah, I really want to see the loot. Some sort of like ice breath. I wish it said the name of like the skill and maybe had some stats here to see it, but so far as the game goes, like it looks like it has pretty decent physics too. Alright, so now we have fire. This is the knight class, so maybe more like a paladin. You can see a lot of things related to a shield. I know that's been a highly requested thing for like Diablo to get like a holy or shield class. But if you want maybe like a tanky class, I'm assuming anything with a shield is going to be a little bit more tanky. But yeah, I really want to see the itemization over everything here. And I think this is the Oracle. It's basically like a caster sort of a class. Reminds me more of like maybe your like Sork, right? Sorceress, Elementalist, some sort of channeled skill, some barriers, we got teleport. You can freeze the targets. I'm guessing it's sort of like freeze and electrocute in the build. Some giant ice spikes shooting out. But I'm curious to see what some of these bosses also look like in the game, because I think that's also like kind of key. But this is basically what they showed off as far as like the classes go. But I'm gonna go back to this other video and kind of have it play while I just kind of like talk about my thoughts on the game. Like I said, I'm super interested in this game, and after seeing this, which got released recently, and like I said, the game's coming out next month for early access, so that's gonna be pretty exciting to play. Maybe in between Diablo, Path of Exile, we have another action RPG to play. We also have Last Epoch. There's like so many good action RPGs, plus Titan Quest also hopefully coming out pretty soon. Oh, by the way, I probably should have mentioned this in the very beginning. This is not a sponsored video. I just genuinely enjoy action RPGs. However, they did offer an early key, so hopefully when the game does launch, I will be able to show you guys the game, and I'll give you guys my honest thoughts on the game, as, like I said, I genuinely enjoy action RPGs, but it's not a sponsored video. But this is a game I just had on my radar, and we finally got some like more gameplay for it. But as far as it goes, I'm curious to know, what do you guys think of this game? Is this game something that you guys would be interested in playing? But as far as like the gems go, like we see over here, like I can pause it right here, we see that where it has like on hit, the Wormling generates something, and then we get like additional projectiles. You can see as we increase these skilled, I'm going to call them gems. It's called an ancestral grid, but basically these little like gems that you would put in. I think like the game design decision is pretty cool, but at the end of the day, it's basically just like you have your main gem and then you have your support gems. Now, the thing that gets more complex is I don't know how we can move this little ancestral grid, because I did see different patterns. I'm not sure if it's class-based or if it's like an upgrade that you can get, but as far as I'm aware of, there's no like unlocks like more over here. That was something that Undecember did, but like you had to like pay for it. So I'm just hoping this game has zero pay to win. I don't mind if like there's progression in the game. Obviously, like you can make more of hexagons on your board. But yeah, like I said, I'm interested in this game, and I'm curious to know what you guys think of it. But yeah, just want to go and give you guys like an overview of it, since it's launching next month. This way, when it does come out, you'll kind of expect to see this on the channel, as well as like you know, some fun stuff. I always love hopping into brand new action RPGs. But yeah, that's Dragonkin. We'll be playing it next month when it comes out. Well, for early access, but it will be available on console. I have like some notes over here, because I technically saw this video before it came out, but it was under NDA, like they sent me it. But yeah, Xbox, PlayStation later. There's 3 classes, and then you have your Wormling. And how it kind of works is like a cast on condition, and then you could probably apply some sort of debuffs, which is something that's kind of nice, because then you could still kind of rely on almost like a one button for like your damage build, because then it casts that on whatever they meant in the Symbiosis. And then maybe you have some mobility skills, which, you know, I'll be honest, with PoE 2, I'm really surprised that like they don't really have mobility skills, which is something I really feel like is kind of key in action RPGs to make the game kind of feel like you're traversing certain areas. Like you can see there's a dash. They actually showed off a blink, but hopefully we can blast. Hopefully there is like basically a Herald of Ice effect, where if we kill one, it can kind of explode, because I kind of like my action RPGs to be fast these days. But looking at this, it seems like it's got kind of a medium-ish pace, but again, they're probably not going to show off a build that teleports and destroys entire screens of enemies, in their trailer. So I'm hoping that we can see the itemizations, and from there we can decide, like, is this going to be an action RPG that we kind of play one time, maybe for several hours, or like a weekend sort of thing, or if it's going to like be a permanent thing in the action RPG space. But I think it's got some potential, but that's going to be my thoughts on it. You can let me know your thoughts down below. But if you guys want to see more of this game, like I said, I'll be covering this game extensively as well. I have a contact with the game company now, and hopefully I'll give you guys the earlier access, and then I can show off the content, and I'll let you guys know maybe what are some of the more fun classes. But anyways, take care. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.